Come on in, please find your seats. And put it back, please. Well, it's possible.
Constable Higgins, what have you?
Well, the streetcar made it a stop down the line before the incident was noted, sir. And as for the victim, it's a real puzzle, sir.
Indeed. Doctor, I hear we have something out of the ordinary.
A single gunshot wound to the torso. I suspect it hit the heart.
Brazen, but hardly odd.
According to Constable Higgins, no one heard the shot.
Ah.
Indeed.
Perhaps he was shot elsewhere.
Given the severity of the wound, he would have left an impressive blood trail, and there's none.
So if he was shot where he sits, and no one heard... A stray bullet. Some boys shooting at bottles.
Or some unrelated dispute.
Return railway ticket from New York City.
Wow. You've given him quite the welcome. Something to write home about.
If you find anything else out, Doctor.
As usual.
Henry, impound this streetcar, please.
Yes, sir.
According to his business card, our victim is a Wilbur Delory Esquire, 539 Gilmore Street, New York. Have George inquire with the New York City Police, please.
Yes, sir. And sir, a few riders saw a man in a boater hat board the car with Mr. Delory, sir. They were having a friendly conversation by all accounts.
And where is this man?
He got off the car before it left the station, sir. Afraid no one saw his face clearly. Perhaps he was just seeing Mr. Delory on his way?
Interesting turn of phrase, Henry. Henry, get this man's description, such as it is, out on the wire. And have the men canvass the area for any reports of gunfire.
Straight away, sir.
Sir, as per your request, I've wired New York City Police about Mr. Delory's information.
Very good, George.
Sir, there's a rather fetching lady waiting for you in your office.
Oh, I'm not expecting anyone. Who is she?
Well, from the little we spoke, I gathered that you two are acquainted.
Who is she?
Sir, I haven't the foggiest.
Thank you. Anna Fulford. My goodness.
Hello, William.
What brings you to Toronto?
I'm on my way to Niagara Falls with my fiancé.
Your fiancé? Ah, congratulations.
William, he's vanished.
Vanished?
I'm at my wit's end. I think something terrible must have happened.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, listen, absolutely, I appreciate your concern. I understand. What now? We need to deal with this in an orderly fashion.
Crabtree, get in.
Sir, it seems there's been a rash of petty crimes in their neighborhood. Pickpocketing, laundry stolen off clotheslines, missing chickens.
Chickens?
I have a theory, sir.
Make it quick.
A gypsy caravan has just set up camp down by the river.
Gypsies. Bloody thieves.
Well, sir, the gypsy concept of ownership is different from ours.
Well, sort it out.
Sir, I will. Where will you be?
My office. My campaign manager's stopping by. It'll be quieter in here.
I'm sorry to bother you, William. I couldn't think what else to do.
It's quite all right. I would have been upset if you hadn't come to me, Anna. Now, please, tell me what happened.
Well, Joe left our hotel at about 7 o'clock last night to look for a tobacconist. We were supposed to meet for dinner in the hotel restaurant at past, and he never arrived. He literally went out for tobacco and never came back.
Forgive me for asking, Anna, but were you and he having troubles?
No. We were on our way to Niagara Falls to get married. I'm sorry, William. I didn't mean to snap.
It's quite all right. And Joe's last name?
Bell. A few months after you and I had our adventure in Bristol, I finally plucked up the courage to sail to New York. Joe was the best thing about that place. It's loud and filthy. The people are horrible.
I take it Joe is the exception.
He is. Strong and forthright. Kind. There aren't many like that. Anyway, a short while after he proposed, and I thought all my dreams had come true.
We'll find him, Anna.
Look at me, I haven't even asked how you've been.
Oh, I'm well.
And Julia, you and she still...
We're still very close, yes. Julia is engaged to another.
Oh, William, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. I'm fine. Now, I'll need a description of Joe.
Yes, he's about your build. Dark complexion, I suppose you'd say. A moustache and black hair. What is it, William?
This new look of yours is going over very well with the voters and the press, Tommy.
So I hear. Now what's this all about, Isaac?
Well, it seems that you are in a tighter horse race with your opponent than we had hoped for.
But just days ago, you said that Ellis Cornwall was dead in the water. What's happened?
Well, things change quickly in politics. Cornwall's anti-immigrant stand has become increasingly popular. As a result, he has gained significant support for his opposition to the subway project as well.
Cornwall says no to any new idea. Bloody Luddite is what he is.
Because he understands people are afraid of change. Now, he's savvy.
He's a numbskull. People will see through that.
Don't be simple, Tommy. Trust the people's judgment, and you're doomed. And the immigrant issue aside, without you on city council, we don't have sufficient numbers to pass the subway project vote next month. Now, Edwin Drury and the rest of your backers of the land consortium are getting nervous.
So what do we do?
We beat Cornwall at his own game, and an opportunity to do just that has landed on our doorstep.
It has?
The gypsy crime spree.
Crime spree? A few minor thefts.
There's nothing minor about it, Tom. In fact, you have just released a statement saying that you are shocked at these brazen gypsies and that you intend to lock up the guilty and run the rest out of town.
When did I release this statement exactly?
It'll be in all the afternoon papers.
But we've barely had time to look into these crimes. The statement's premature.
Not if you want to convince the voters that as alderman, you will be their champion of law and order. That you intend to right the ship to see your dream of Toronto the Good come true. Now, you've promised that in all your speeches. Don't you want to show them that was more than just words?
Of course I do.
That's my boy, Tommy. It's time to draw a line in the sand. Now, go right that ship and show those gypsies who they're really dealing with.
Is this Joe? Anna, I know how difficult this must be for you.
It's not Joe. Thank God he's still alive.
Right then. I believe what would be best now is for you to get some rest. I'll let you know as soon as there's news. Constable Morris, please escort Miss Fulford to her hotel and stay there with her until I can join you.
Thank you, William.
She's lovely. Poor thing, I can't imagine how I'd feel in her situation.
Well then, it would appear that Mr. Delory is in fact himself. Has your post-mortem revealed anything, Doctor?
Yes. I recovered this slug, 32 caliber. Given the powder burns on his skin, Mr. Delory was shot point blank.
Ruling out a stray bullet. I don't understand, Julia. The passengers would have heard a gunshot.
I know, I have no explanation either. And I found this. Metal filings. They were embedded in the wound and the victim's jacket.
As if they were also fired from the gun?
If so, you're dealing with a most unusual weapon.
I believe I need to return to the scene of the crime.
Metal filings, sir?
Yes, like those recovered from the victim's body. Henry, I'll need you to gather a few items for me.
Certainly, sir. From where?
Millwright.
Right then. Who's in charge here? When I ask a question, I expect an answer. You've got till the count of 3 before we take action. 1, 2...
Put those damn sticks away.
What are you then? Their queen?
He thinks I'm the gypsy queen. Well, you must be the police king.
I'm Inspector Thomas Brackenreed. Just who the hell are you?
I'm the Furi Dai.
The fairy what?
It means wise woman. I'm the one who will speak with you, only me. Come. And no weapons.
Sir, I should come with you, just to make sure that your safety is...
Just keep your eye on this little Crabtree.
Yes, sir.
So, miss, whatever your name is, there's been a crime spree in this neighborhood since you lot turned up.
Really? Well, I would tell my clan to be on guard for those criminals.
Don't play coy with me. Your clan needs to pack up and move on.
Inspector Brackenreed, gypsies are used to persecution. We aren't intimidated. Please show me the evidence against us.
You're trespassing on city property. You've got until noon tomorrow to be gone. Otherwise, I can't answer for what might happen.
Neither can I.
Ah, sir. How did it go with the gypsies?
Bunch of goat herders.
That well.
They'll be gone by tomorrow if they know what's good for them. What are you working on?
That's a speculative notion at the moment.
To do with this impossible shooting of yours?
Yes, sir.
How's that going?
Well, sir, we've confirmed that the victim was indeed a Wilbur Delory from New York City, in town on business, according to his family.
2 incidents, both involving New York City residents. Delory and Miss Fulford's missing fiancé.
Yes, sir. Perhaps there's a connection.
The fiancé knew this other bloke, had a row with him, killed him and ran. Could be as simple as that.
The thought had crossed my mind.
Keep an eye out, Murdock. Miss Fulford's runaway groom could be a bit of a dangerous character.
Sir, Constable Morris just telephoned from the Imperial Hotel. Miss Fulford took a message at the front desk from her fiancé.
Indeed. Have Morris stay put with Miss Fulford until I can get there.
Well, Sir, Morris just found this out now. He thought Miss Fulford was in her room.
I don't understand, George. Where is Miss Fulford now?
Sir, she's on the way to meet her fiancé.
What? Do we have any idea where she was going?
The man at the front desk who took the message said the Gerrard Street Bridge, sir.
Anna! Anna!
William! William, I finally have... What the hell are you doing? Joe would never harm anyone, let alone try and kill me.
But he contacted you with instructions that led you into an ambush. Anna, just how well did you know him, really?
Just what does that mean?
Well, you've had a whirlwind romance.
And you barged into my pub with a bullet through your arm a year ago, begging me to believe you weren't a murderer, so don't you dare question my judgment.
But isn't it possible that your love for Joe has blinded you to the truth about him? Right. If I'm to help you find Joe, I'll need to know everything you know about him.
Where do I start?
Was he well off? Where did he work?
He has his own business, shipping cargo back and forth to Europe.
What sort of cargo?
I'm not sure.
That's all right. We can find all of that out. If you just tell me the name of the company.
I don't actually know. You weren't far off when you said whirlwind. Oh, this is embarrassing.
Did Joe ever mention a Wilbur Delory?
I don't think so. Who is he?
He's the unfortunate gentleman I showed you in the morgue.
Oh, he had a bullet in him. Are you seriously suggesting that the man I love is going about Toronto shooting people and probably trying to kill me?
I don't know anything at the moment, Hannah, but I do know that I don't wish to see you harmed.
Well, Joe would never harm me. I know he wouldn't.
Is that it?
Virtually no noise. I got the idea after reading about Hiram Maxim's attempts to muffle the sound of internal combustion motors.
So this is a muffler, so to speak?
Yes, George. Which would explain why no one on the streetcar heard the gunshot.
Insidious is what it is.
I agree. The key to this muffler, as you call it, George, is the sound-dampening properties of metal filings stuffed into a series of conical baffles along the length...
Silencer. That has a better ring to it. Oh, sorry, sir.
Along the length of the cylinder.
Baffler. That's the ticket.
So those metal filings are like the ones found in the victim's wound?
Correct, sir. They would have been blown out of the gun with the force of the shot.
Murdock. A man travels all the way from New York City to commit murder and uses a highly specialized device that ensures he can slip away into thin air. What does that sound like to you?
I believe we're dealing with an assassin.
Tommy, we have a problem.
We do? Mr. Drury, good to see you again. I took care of our problem, gentlemen. The gypsies will be gone by tomorrow, one way or another.
You should have run them out of town on sight, Inspector. A number of my neighbors on Jarvis Street, many of whom I convinced to contribute to your campaign, were burglarized last night by those lowlifes.
What makes you think it was the gypsies?
My son, Edwin Jr., and his friends saw the gypsy men themselves. From our drawing room, the thieves were breaking into number 28. First a minor crime wave, now these major thefts by these immigrant peasants. Ellis Cornwall will rake you over the coals with this unless you react with an iron hand.
But we can still turn this to your advantage, but we need arrests, and we need the caravan out of town before the evening papers hit the streets.
I can see your point, gentlemen, but that's not how I left it with them. We should give the gypsies a chance.
I can read. We've got a potential disaster on our hands. Just get back to that camp and get them the hell out of there. And I'm sending the press, so I don't want any mistakes.
Everything Mr. Drury's consortium has worked for depends upon this, Tommy. Everything you've worked for.
You wanted to see me, Doctor?
Yes, I've received a request from Mr. Delory's family to have his remains returned to New York.
Yes. I see no reason why not.
Right. Then I'll release the body to the mortician here that the family made arrangements with. He's to ship the body to a funeral parlor in New York City.
Very good. Was there something else?
Yes. I suppose I was wondering how you'll keep Miss Fulford safe now there's been an attempt made on her life.
Well, I've asked her to remain at the station house until I can arrange protective custody. And once the killer's caught...
Why can't she stay with me?
With you?
Yes. The killer would never think to look for her in my home, and she'd be more at ease.
Yes, but...
Consider what Anna's going through, William. If the gunman is her fiancé, then she's been horribly betrayed, and she's lost the love of her life. It's heartbreaking.
Indeed. I'll arrange it.
Right, you lot. There's no need for trouble, but if that's what you want, then I'm happy to oblige. Tommy Brackenreed is fair but tough. You getting all this, Anglin?
Every golden word.
Good lad.
Inspector! You will stop this immediately.
Ma'am, I'll ask you to stay back for your own safety.
It's all right, Crabtree. What you've got to understand is that there's no point crying over this. The decision's been taken.
By who? Oh, I see. So you were following someone else's orders. You're a messenger boy.
You've got nothing to complain about. If it wasn't for me, we'd be rounding everybody up, not just the men.
You gave us until tomorrow.
You were going nowhere, and you know it.
So I am the liar. Well, in that case, you leave me no choice. What you seek, you shall never gain.
What's that supposed to mean?
She is remarkable. Who is she?
Never you mind. Get on with your job.
Sir, I think she just put a gypsy curse on you.
Curse, was it? Thank you, Crabtree. She did no such thing. Right, you lot, come on, chop, chop.
I don't know how to thank you for your kindness, Doctor.
Call me Julia.
May I ask you a personal question, Julia?
Of course.
Well, the way William spoke of you in Bristol, I got the feeling you and him were destined for each other. But now you're engaged to someone else, so I was wondering.
What happened?
I didn't mean to pry. It's just... Well, it's important to me that William's happy.
It's good of you to care for him. I still do, very much. But it became obvious that our futures were just not compatible.
Must be true what they say. Love isn't always enough.
Sir, your signature is needed. The customs form regarding Mr. Lorry's body?
Yes, of course. What is it, George?
Well, sir, with respect to the Jarvis Street break-ins, the inspector, he hasn't even asked to interview any of the residents. He's just taking it on Edwin Drury's word that it was the gypsies.
There's a saying, George. It's just politics.
Yes, but sir...
Don't worry. I'll make sure that the thefts are thoroughly investigated very soon. In the meantime, the inspector needs our support and discretion.
Yes, sir.
That's odd. The funeral home that Mr. Delorey's body is meant to be shipped to. It's different than the one his family requested.
No one should disturb the dead, not even the police.
Mr. Palmer, we contacted Mr. Delorey's family in New York City, and they had no idea arrangements for Mr. Delorey's body had been changed.
But they contacted me directly.
Someone contacted you, but it wasn't Mr. Delorey's family. And whoever it was has been going to great lengths to obtain his body. I want to know why.
Sir, that body is sitting awfully high up.
Mr. Delorey seems anxious to escape this shipping coffin. Mr. Palmer, can you explain why?
I cannot.
It's a false bottom, sir.
If you please, George. 1, 2.
Oh, my.
Well, George, it appears we've found Miss Fulford's fiancé. I'm sorry, Anna.
I need some air.
I'll come with you.
William, she needs time to herself.
Of course.
I have preliminary results. Joe Bell died of a single gunshot wound to the abdomen.
.32 caliber, the same as the other victim.
And I found metal filings in the wound.
Time of death?
Roughly 24 hours ago.
He was killed before Mr. Delorey. Why are these two men dead? And why on earth would someone want Anna dead as well? And why would the killer want to ship Joe Bell's body back to New York in secret?
It's a conundrum, to be sure, sir.
Oh, whatever his reason, the killer comes up with this double coffin deception. But he needs a second corpse to put on top of Joe Bell's body.
So he must have known Delorey was from New York.
The streetcar witnesses claim that two men were chatting moments before the murder.
So the murderer killed Delorey simply because he needed a corpse? Sir, the disregard for human life.
Indeed, George. This assassin is well suited to his calling. I don't believe we've seen his like before.
Bloody hell, Glynn. What were you thinking? Hey! You're supposed to write about the arrests, not this cursed bollocks.
But a gypsy curse, how could I ignore a thing like that?
I thought we had a deal. I give you scoops over all the other broadsheets in exchange for good press on my station house.
On your station house, yes, not your political aspirations. Is it possible you've confused the two?
If your reporting cost me this election, I guarantee I'll find a way to make you sorry.
Is that a quote, Inspector?
Sir,
What do you want, Crabtree?
sir, the gypsy women have begun a sort of vigil outside.
Outside? Are you serious?
Yes, sir, that wise woman up there says they won't leave until their men are released. Shall I have the lads try to move them off?
What with Glynn out there lurking, ready to make a fool out of me again?
Sir, if I were an objective observer, which I believe I am, I might observe that... Sir, I believe your policing methods have suffered of late.
Did I hear you correctly, Crabtree?
Yes, sir.
What? Oh, Mr. Drury. So sorry. Yes, sir. I'll be right there. Where are those Jarvis Street break-in reports?
I'll fetch them, sir.
I never saw the man, Detective. I received a telephone call.
And this caller, what did he offer you?
The continued use of my legs.
I see. Mr. Palmer, how did the second body get into the coffin without you seeing who put it there?
The caller asked me to prepare the Delory corpse and then go for a stroll. I was to leave the door open and come back in an hour. That's all I know. Detective, who are these people to threaten such ghastly violence?
Sir, the break-in reports.
Detective, the men have been showing photos of Joe Bell around town. They discovered he made a visit to Union Station not long before he was killed.
He was alone?
Yes, sir.
Why return to Union Station?
Well, apparently he stored several items while in transit. He requested access to a piece of luggage and then left the station. Beyond that, I'm afraid the trail goes cold, sir.
Well, whatever he was doing, it was certainly without Miss Fulford's knowledge. We need to find out what he put into storage, Henry.
Sir?
You do it, Murdock.
Joe loved this watch. Get terrible time.
These are the rest of his effects.
Thank you.
What will you do when all this is over?
Start again, I suppose. Though it's hard to imagine how.
I suppose we become so accustomed to the shape of our lives. We're convinced that no other is possible. And yet, of course, it is.
I've fallen for two men in the space of a year, and I've lost them both. There's always the nunnery.
Two men?
One was Joe. The other walked into my pub in Bristol. And his heart belonged to another.
Oh.
My chaperone's growing impatient. I should return to the safety of your home.
Of course.
Thank you.
I have to say I'm surprised at you, Tommy. Very surprised. I asked a simple thing and you made a mess of it.
The roundup went exactly to plan, Mr. Drury.
So Paddy Glynn's the problem. Don't look to sidestep the blame.
I beg your pardon? Who was it sent him down there?
Inspector, I will not accept failure. And you need to counterattack after this fiasco. I'm open to ideas.
Well, there is something that might right the ship, sir.
I'm listening.
Perhaps your family would care to attend the theatre this evening.
I could teach Joe Bell a thing or two. When I travel, I pack one valise and a shoebox.
Henry, a 1-hour carriage ride to your mother's house doesn't count as travelling. Sir, where would you like this monstrosity?
Right here on the work table, George. Right there. Let's see what brought Joe Bell to Union Station.
I'm betting it's another body, sir. It often is.
It often is, Henry?
And we have Tin cans.
No doubt full of body parts, Higgins.
Inside is oil.
Sir.
Olive oil, to be precise.
Who would go carting around gallons of olive oil while they're on vacation?
Something in here. What on earth?
American $20 bills.
Sir, if the other tins are filled up the same, there's a fortune.
Sir, who was this Joe Bell? How did he come by all this money?
I have no idea, George, but it's a fair bet that this is why he was murdered. The paper itself is low grade, high in linen, lacking in cotton. And if you look at Alexander Hamilton's buttons, there are 2. There should be 3.
So this Joe Bell was a counterfeiter who couldn't count?
No, in fact. According to the United States Secret Service, this particular counterfeiter is a forger who lives in Sicily.
Sicily? How did this fake money end up in New York?
Miss Fulford said that her fiancé, Joe Bell, had a shipping company. Various cargo.
Some of which was Sicilian olive oil.
Yes. Now the question is whether or not Mr. Bell was part of this counterfeiting ring, or if he simply happened upon the hidden money.
Well, either way, he helps himself to a few tins and he makes a run for it.
Yes, and the rightful owners sent an assassin to track him down.
And the rightful owners are?
The New York City police have no knowledge of this Joe Bell, but they did recognize the double coffin ruse. It's a technique used by an organized crime group called the Black Hand. The double coffin allows them to transport victims they don't want discovered.
Pragmatic cutthroats.
Apparently this Black Hand has its roots in Sicily, but has been moving into New York City's Italian community.
First a band of gypsies, now something called organized crime. Toronto the good indeed. So, do you have a plan to put a stop to this business?
I might.
Brilliant. Because I have a crime wave of my own to deal with.
I guess I've heard. And you hope for a speedy conclusion.
I do. With the actual thieves behind bars, if you were wondering.
I was not.
Good. Now, you have some unpleasant business to attend to.
Yes.
Joe would never associate with this Black Hand. He was a good soul.
No doubt. But he did steal from the Black Hand. And it cost him his life. And put yours in jeopardy.
I swear, I had no idea what Joe was doing.
And I believe you. But the attempt on your life would suggest that the Black Hand feels otherwise. And it's this mistaken belief that's the basis for my idea.
To catch his killer?
Yes. Now it stands to reason that the Black Hand wants the money back. And I intend to give it to them.
Why would you want to give those murderers anything?
To draw out the assassin. I'll send them a telegram pretending to be you and that you know what they've done. Anna will offer the money in exchange for her life. And when the killer presents himself, he'll be apprehended.
How will you contact them?
There is a funeral parlor in New York City I believe the Black Hand uses as a cover. I'll wire them the specifics of where and when the exchange is to take place.
Well, I want to be there with you.
It's far too dangerous.
But the killer will expect to see me. If he doesn't, he might slink away and you'll never catch him.
Anna, I will not use you as bait.
William, if our roles were reversed, if you were after the killer of the woman you loved, you would not want to be denied a role.
No, I would not.
Right. So what can I do to help?
Have you come to beg me to lift the curse?
No. Something even more difficult than that. I'm here to admit that I was wrong.
Yes?
I know your men didn't commit those break-ins, but apologies aren't going to get them out of the situation they're in.
So, your words are empty?
No. I do have a plan, but I need your help.
Release my men first.
I can't. For this to work, they must remain in jail one more night. Yeah? The public has to believe the men are free. I need your women to cancel their vigil outside my station house.
And suppose your big plan doesn't work?
Well, for one thing, you won't have to curse me again. I'll have the whole city doing that.
And the police king will fall?
You will. Here.
They're friends of my son, Edwin Jr.
Yes, the ones so eager to give statements blaming the gypsies.
It was Edwin Jr.'s idea.
That's rubbish.
It's true, I swear.
What was Edwin Jr.'s idea? Speak!
To rob each other's house when our families were out.
These boys are just trying to get my son in trouble.
No, I don't think so. You see, Mr. Drury, I went back over your boy's statement. Before I came back up here this afternoon, I stopped off in front of number 28. There's no line of sight between there and that drawing room window. Which means your boy and these two were lying when they said they saw the gypsies breaking into the place. It was a setup. And I'm afraid your son instigated it all.
Well, thank you, Inspector. You can rest assured that my son will be dealt with severely.
Actually, there'll be no backroom deals. I'll have my men arrest Edwin Jr. at the theatre.
I'd think twice about that. You will humiliate my family. And theirs.
Tommy, this may not be the smart move.
What are you saying, Lo?
Well, politics is all about the compromise, the give and the take. So you give a little on this, and then you take a little on that.
Are you attempting to bribe an officer of the law?
Of course not.
You told me to make this city Toronto the good. And I'm doing just that.
Let's not mince words here, Tommy. You're making a mistake that will go far beyond throwing your campaign away.
Bribes. Threats. Now, I may not know much about politics, but I do know about the law. And you two are that close to breaking it. Boys! Outside.
Tommy.
The name is Inspector Brackenreed. And I say to hell with politics. You two can dig that subway your bloody selves.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You'll have to take the next car.
But this is the last one.
We have an extra car running tonight.
I don't understand why I can't take this one.
We're on a very tight schedule.
Tight schedule? These cars never run on time.
Sir, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you to step aside.
I have to make my shift.
Sir, will you...
If I'm late, I'll be sacked.
Sir, I understand.
What is the issue?
Sir, I didn't look anymore. Just take me through. I appreciate it. I'll take it to the left.
Drop your weapon! What on earth?
He murdered Joe.
Come on. Joe Bell was a member of the Black Hand. He handled shipping of the counterfeit money into New York City. And all of that was going smoothly until he met and fell in love with Anna Fulford. And then he wanted out. So he took the money to start their new life together. Correct me if I'm wrong. So the Black Hand sent you to kill Joe Bell. And in bringing his body back to New York City, it would send out a very clear message. Steal from the Black Hand, it will find you and kill you. Anna Fulford is innocent. She played no part in this.
No, we don't see it that way.
No harm will come to her.
You don't understand. Someone will replace me. If they fail, they will be replaced. The woman will die. The Black Hand does not forget. It will come for her. And for this city.
So you're off?
It's better this way. They say Peterborough's a nice little town.
So I've heard. Lots of chickens. I never would have thought this a couple of days ago, but I think I'll miss you. Your clan, I mean.
Thank you, Inspector. You'll forgive us if we don't send postcards.
Right.
And I'm glad that you're here, because I have to lift the curse.
Hey, don't bother. It wasn't actually a curse, as it turned out.
I must be losing my touch. Take care of yourself, Inspector. You're one of the good ones.
I never did get your name.
Mirella.
So these people will hunt me down and kill me simply to save face?
I'm afraid so.
I'm not sure I can resign myself to that.
You don't have to.
But you just said...
Anna, I can't protect you. But I can help you hide.
I don't want to run and hide, William. I want to stay here.
You can't.
Well, Bristol, then I could go home.
We've had these documents made up for you. They're your new identity, a new name, a new past. Everything you'll need.
But where will I go? What am I going to do?
Anna, what's important is surviving to be able to make those decisions. I'm so sorry, but it's the best I can do.
How did this happen? Both of us losing the futures we counted on. Perhaps when enough time has passed, you could come to me.
No. No. You must never tell anyone what's become of Anna Fulford. Not even me. To do so would place us both in great danger.
So this really is goodbye. I'll miss you, William.